Hey y'all, my name's Christina. So I'm a sophomore in accounting, and I'm an OFAM. Whoop, whoop. I'm thankful to have found the Lord at a young age in middle school. Middle school was also a time when I started experiencing some really weird physical symptoms, and we couldn't seem to figure out what was causing that. I would have days just of incredible pain throughout my whole body, and I went to see countless doctors. I had tests done from head to toe, and they just could not tell me what was wrong. And each time I heard a doctor say, I don't know what it is, like that just got harder and harder to hear, those words. It became emotionally exhausting as well, as I knew something was off, but everyone was telling me that I was fine. So finally in high school, I was diagnosed with something called POTS, like pots and pans, but it stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Sorry, lost my place. So I was in a strange way, super excited about this diagnosis because it was finally an answer. But then I quickly realized that it was really no answer at all because POTS is just kind of, it's a syndrome, so it's just a conglomerate of symptoms, and it's always caused by something else. So it was really just a way to define the symptoms, and it really was no answer at all. So I've gone through some seasons where, it was hard to just walk up a flight of stairs or get out of bed or sit in a chair. But I've also gone through some other incredible seasons where I could do things like train for a triathlon or compete at a high level in track. So things have always just been really up and down. And just simply unpredictable. And the hardest part has always been never really knowing why it was happening or when the next wave of pain would come. I found it fascinating how my walk with the Lord has seemed to have paralleled my physical journey. So just as my health has been this roller coaster of ups and downs, my faith has seemed to fluctuate in a similar way. I have always had this desire for Jesus, but I've wrestled back and forth at times, wondering if I was really willing to pursue this lifelong obedience to God. So Psalm 63 was placed in front of me a long time ago. I think I was in middle school, and I have just clung to it ever since. So I want to read verses 1 through 4. David writes, "O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh faints for you, as in a dry and weary land where there is no water. So I have looked upon you in your sanctuary, beholding your power and glory. Because your steadfast love is better than life, my lips will praise you. So I will bless you as long as I live. In your name I will lift up my hands." So something I love about this psalm and the Psalms in general is the way that David brings praise to God in all seasons of life. So as I was kind of saying, the Lord has revealed to me the ways that my physical journey and my faith journey have kind of paralleled. And just as I've gone through seasons where my body could, kind of work at 110%, I've gone through seasons where my faith was, I guess I would say at its peak, and it was easy to pursue God and follow in the footsteps of Jesus. And on the contrary, I've walked through seasons where it was harder to just sit in a chair, and my faith has been in a place where it felt like life with God was so unnatural, and I would fall out of these rhythms of faith. So it was just constantly this up and down, both in my spiritual life and my physical body. So going back to Psalm 63, what I want to point out is that David's deep communion with God did not take away his problems. He didn't have all the answers. Not everything made sense. He was just with God. And that's what made it so good. I don't have all the answers as to what is going on physically with my body. Why did God create me to function this way? When will the next wave of pain come? I don't know, but I always struggled back and forth with my faith in such a similar way. In my freshman year of college, just last year, I was really questioning if I should give God, my whole life, or if maybe I could just give him the big things and I could keep the small things to myself. But I love this picture that's painted in Psalm 63, verse 1. It says, "My flesh faints for you, as in a dry and weary land where there is no water." What does it look like to seek God as earnestly as a man seeks for water in the desert? Sorry, my phone turned off. We don't have all the answers or know the roadmap, but we just know that we need this one thing, this water, this God. I found that the beauty of the Lord is not in God fixing all the problems or stabilizing life or giving us all the answers. The beauty of God is just not in these things. The beauty of God is in him being with us. Life is good when it is with God. That's my snapshot.